Yet another day has passed, and here we are with another Sony drop. The embargo was lifted on the Sony cameras, and they have 2 new drops coming. Of those 2 new drops, we have the Sony A7C Mark II and the Sony A7C R. The R is for resolution. Of these 2 cameras, they fit in a very great niche, and they also pair well with another camera that I think is amazing from Sony, which is the ZV-E1. Now, with these 2 cameras dropping along with the ZV-E1, I think that a lot of content creators now have super powerhouses to start up anything that they would like to do. Whether you're doing talking heads for YouTube, whether you're going out and getting jobs, especially starting out, these cameras are amazing. So we're gonna go over some of the specs, but then we're gonna get into the real deal and talk about use case scenarios for these cameras and who these cameras are for. So let's get into it. All right. First, we're gonna start off with the A7C Mark II. They put 2 of them things on the market. Now, the Sony A7C Mark II and the Sony A7C R are pretty much the same camera with a few differences. Those differences matter more than what they have in common. So I'll give you the stats and the specs for the A7C Mark II first. The A7C Mark II is sporting a 33 megapixel full frame Exmor RBSI sensor. All that really means is that you have a 33 megapixel full frame sensor. They have the Bion's XR image processor. You shoot up to 10 frames per second, and it has an ISO from 50 to 204 800,000. Sheesh. Also, it does sport 10-bit full frame 4K 30p video. It has S-Log 3, Gamut 3, S-Cinetone, and you can put in user LUTs to this camera. It has 7 stops of in-body image stabilization and a 759-point phase detection with 94% coverage. That's a whole lot of sensor. 2.36 dot OLED electronic viewfinder. I mean, the electronic viewfinder comes in a pinch, but that range style, not really for me. It also has a 3-inch 1.03 M.dot very angle LCD touchscreen. All that means we can touch the screen and select options. That makes this camera very user friendly. Also, it has an internal mic and inputs, and it's set up right out of the box for USB streaming. Now we're gonna go over to the Sony A7C R. It has a 61 megapixel full frame sensor. Bada boom, bada bing, 61 megapixels. You could do a lot of zooming in with that. And with the R series of any type of Sony camera, the R is for resolution. Then we have the same Bion's XR image processor. You shoot up to 8 frames per second, 50 to 102 400,000 on the ISO. 240.8 megapixel pixel shift multi-shooting. 10-bit full frame 4K 60. On the video side, it also has the S-Log 3, Gamut 3, S-Cinetone, and you can upload user LUTs. Has 7 stops of in-body stabilization, 693-point phase detection, which is 79% coverage, 2.36 M.dot OLED electronic viewfinder, and it still has that same vari-angle touchscreen that you have in the A7C. Firstly, I would like to start off by saying these cameras are incredible for the prosumer. It has some pros and it has some cons. On the pro side, you essentially have the A7 IV in both of these cameras. If the A7 IV had a resolution sensor for the A7C R. With this camera having the insides, a Franken camera if you will, almost an APS-C size camera setting, but then you have the power of the A7 IV with the full frame sensor. It is amazing. It is mind-boggling. The cameras nowadays are going nuts. But in that same sense, you do have some things that are being taken away. You have all of the pros of the A7 IV, and then you have all of the negatives of the APS-C. What do I mean by that? Well, with these cameras, you are going to not have a full-size HDMI port. Nope, 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 nope. Not gonna have the full-size joint. Gonna have that mini joint, and I'm not the biggest fan of that. But if you are coming into content creation and you're not doing major jobs, you're not going on set, you're not having super paying clients of the top tier, these cameras are amazing finds. The fact that they have a system with Sony that gives you almost everything that you get into the flagship cameras, and they have it at a cheaper price. Listen to this, follow me here. I'm not into conspiracies, but Sony is basically W cameramans, you feel me? Sony wants to get rid of all the competition, and the strongest point of Sony selling since they have come out with these mirrorless cameras has been that they are more accessible to the prosumer customer. These cameras give you top tier, top chef's kiss tier, everything that you want in a camera when you're a content creator. They're very small, you can get them into tight spaces, you can run and gun with them at all times. They're not really built to be souped up and have big rigs. If you're an entry-level content creator, you want to have a great camera with great features at a great price. These cameras do that, and I really do believe that the future of cameras has come. Sony is making great strides, and with these cameras, you get all of the power pack features of their major camera line. It is just mind-blowing to me how these cameras are making so many strides. The things that are setting these cameras back, number one, if you are using these cameras professionally, if you're not in a setting where you could get your footage offloaded quickly, there is a problem with redundancy. There is one card slot. But outside of that, these things are absolutely amazing. Now, what do I have to say about content creators and use case scenarios? Let's get into the uses. The A7C Mark II is going to be one of the greatest YouTube cameras of all time. Mark my words, this camera is going to be amazing for the YouTube creator, for the TikTok creator, for the Instagram creator, and by far, it has the lowest price of entry of any top tier camera that we have right now on the market. The A7C R is the camera that I am baffled by. The A7C Mark II makes so much sense from a standpoint of content creation. But with a lot of content creation being steered away from still photos, the A7C R is a really, really niche camera, and I'm not sure who it would be for. The simple fact that you are shooting in that high of a resolution would seem to me that you would be more of a professional shooter. And a professional shooter would more than likely get the A7 R5. It makes much more sense. It has a higher price of entry, but when you're shooting in that much resolution, you, my friend, should be a professional. I do believe that the A7C Mark II is going to sell more than the A7C R, simply because the A7C R does not have a full platform of people to be marketed to. In my honest opinion, my humble opinion, the A7C R is a great camera, but who really wants it? Before I would go get an A7C R, I would more than likely go get an A7 IV, because then I would be more likely to hybrid shoot. I don't see a person buying the A7C R to be a hybrid shooter and then not having any type of redundancy. At this point, it doesn't seem like the value of the camera matches up with what the camera can actually do. But hey, that's just me, guys. What do I know? I'm just a cameraman. And that's all I got for you guys today, but I had to get that update out for you. Hey, if you guys haven't checked out the last video, please do. If you found this any type of helpful in any type of way, please like and subscribe. Got more videos coming for you every week, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.